Welcome to this week's Wednesday Waffle, and the title is, as you've seen, You Don't Get to Choose. But what don't you get to choose? Well, if I tell you that this is a continuation from where we left off, having had a disastrous tent trip and moving into caravanning and eventually motorhoming, then that might give you a clue. And the clue is that you don't actually get to choose this. Your caravan is out there waiting for you. It'll come along when it's good and ready and let you know it's there. So forget looking for one, searching. You can do that because that's one way of finding it yourself. But believe me, if it's not your caravan, you're not going to settle in it. If it hasn't chosen you. So what am I saying? Well, our first van, we didn't really choose. We went out to buy a tin tent, and it had to be able to sleep us all and pretty much do what our tent had done. And it did, but it was pretty much the first one we saw, a very old and very cheap for the time, Sprite Aerial. About 10 foot long and nothing in it. Now you might say, we chose this one. We didn't, because we didn't really want to be caravanners. At the time, we wanted to be tenters. But needs must, and a tent just wasn't going to cut it for us. So along came caravan number one. We owned this caravan for about 9 months. And then, due to various reasons, we couldn't at that time afford to keep it. So we got rid of it. And then along came an opportunity to have another caravan. This time a Sprite Aerial. This time a Sprite Alpine. The Sprite Alpine was around about the same age as the Aerial. A little bit better condition and a whole 2 feet longer. Now, those of you who have had caravans, motorhomes and camper vans know that 2 feet is a great deal in a small caravan. We had this thing, the Alpine, for 18 months and thought, this is the one for us. It was great, had a bit more space, had everything we needed, no electrics. It had a 12 volt battery which powered a light. It had a foot pump for pumping water from a container into the sink. And to us, that was all mod cons. But we had a leak in the sink, and I went looking for a replacement, just a simple job, unscrew, bolt in, 5-minute job. But while I went to buy the right size plug hole, Lindsay had met an Abbey Marauder, or an ABI Marauder. Now this was a bargain. It was the 400 CT, which makes it about the same size as the Alpine. Much newer. And now the reason it was a bargain was because somebody had bought a shiny brand new caravan, had all the money they needed to do so, on a whim. And then it sat on the drive for a few months, not being used, and they traded it back in. And therefore, it was very cheap and very nice. And yes, it chose us, and we traded in our Sprite Alpine for the ABI Marauder. Now this was a great little basic caravan, and I fitted mains electric, all the RCD and everything. I rewired everything so that it could use 12 volt battery, the 12 volt charger system. I fitted hot water, we fitted an oven, and it had a shower, etc. We fitted the hot water too, because nothing worse than a cold shower on a cold morning. But we had our ABI Marauder, and we had this one for 5 years. We've done lots of work on it, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. You can feel a butt, can't you? Yeah, I had a bad day at work, and we decided just to go out for a run. Along the way was a caravan dealer, open in the evening. And in that caravan dealership was a caravan, and it was saying, "Huey, come and see." Yes, we bought another caravan. We traded in the Marauder, and we'd gone upscale this time. A Lunar Clubman 475. Now this was a fantastic layout for us. Craig was getting a bit bigger. It had a corner dinette and a shower toilet at the back. Then it had what we called a breakfast bar. It's a bit stuck out. Which ran back down the caravan where the sink and fridge etc. were, a cupboard on the other side with drinks cabinet and big long twin seats at the front. An ideal full berth. And when Craig wasn't there, or wasn't going to be about, if you like, it was future proof because it had effectively a bed down the back. It was made into a double and could have been left as a double. And we had the Lunar Clubman for 3 years. But we were back and on our way coming home from a trip to France. It had been a bad trip to France. We'd fallen out with people, another story. As we came back via Red Pennant and all the rest of it early, and they'd organised us to stay at a site near Much Wenlock. Excellent site, nothing wrong with the site. Parked up, and Lindsay sat me down outside with a beer and wouldn't let me inside. Not only was it a bad time in France, we were having a bad time with the caravan. The wall was coming away, and it was going to cost a bit to thing. We were there for a few days. We had the rest of our holiday to sort out. So we were looking around, and we thought we'd get some ideas of how much it was going to cost to fix. And a local dealer said they would come out and have a look. And he hummed and hawed and gave us a price. But he said he had a special on a caravan that we might be interested in. So we went along to have a look, and we bought another caravan. And we bought it and did the trade and did the exchange, moving from one to the other, actually on the site. And that was a journey. And the one we bought this time was an Avondale Wenlock. The nice idea. It had an L shape at the front this time, and it had 2 single bunks, so there was room for Craig. It had a big end bathroom, which was a lovely thing, and it was a lovely van. And we had this van for 3 years. But we didn't really get on with it totally. The L shape was fine if it was just us, Lindsay, myself and Craig. It was fine. There was plenty of seating, plenty of room, plenty to do. But if you had friends in for a cup of tea or a drink or a meal, it became very problematical with the L shape. So it was always itching away that it wasn't quite right, but it was a nice van, nothing wrong with it. And then we were on a rally one day, and we needed to go and get something, blue paint, gas or something. I think this might have been, this could well have been the gas bottle. So we went, yes it was, we went to change the gas bottle. And there's in the dealers, and remember, we'd gone to change a gas bottle, nothing else. There in the dealers is a Lunar Delta 610 4-berth. Lovely big caravan, plenty of space, looks lovely, and is now sat on our drive. Yes, we did it again. We didn't really choose, it chose us. So here we are now with a large caravan, absolutely loads of space, effectively 2 caravans in one, with a gangway in between, as it had a double dinette at front and back. So and at this time Craig was getting a bit older, sometimes Craig wouldn't come with us for the weekend, which gave us the opportunity to leave the back up as a fixed bed. And all went well. We had this van for 3 years. And as I say, it was great until we were sat one Christmas. And we were out with a bunch of friends, and because it was dark, and because it seemed like we were having two parties in the van, if you like. There was a party at each end of the van, and near the twain shall meet, because of the dark wood and the gangway down between them. So perhaps it's not the van for us, but we were going to keep it because there was nothing wrong with it. Yeah, you can guess what happened, can't you? This was another Delta, and it was, again, we were on a rally field, and we went for something. I forget what the something was. But we went to pick something up, and there was this Caravan going, "Ooey, ooey, come and see me." And yes, we did. This one, a Lunar Delta 522 berth. Yes, Craig's no longer regularly coming with us, and if he does, he takes his tent anyway. And we had this Delta for roughly 3 years as well. But it was time to move on very quickly, you might say. It was a lovely van, don't get me wrong, but for whatever reason, a lunar fault, potholes in the road, who knows, it came detached from the chassis by the twin axle on the left-hand side. And I noticed this when putting up an awning one winter. We were away for New Year, and the wheels didn't look to be sitting right. So I looked at the other side. Yeah, went back, measured it, and sure enough, on looking, you could see that it had shifted on the chassis. Now, it wouldn't have taken much to fix it, apparently, but with no guarantees. The dealer said once this had happened, then it was very likely to happen again, no matter what they did. New bolts, washers, whatever, however it was shipped. It was just something that was known. Now, I don't know whether that's right or not, but in this instance, we started looking, and we were going to choose a new Caravan. By now, of course, we pretty well knew what kind of layout worked for us and how it worked for us, and we had in mind a couple of vans. And we went to a fairly local dealership in Aberdeen, and we spotted a Vesicar Cameo E495 as being ideal layout, etc. So we went to look at it, and we both went in it. We looked at it. No, we don't really. It's not much better. We don't like it. This is not. No. So we left quite happy. But then we met a friend who had had great success with a relatively new German brand. Now, I can't remember the name, but they are well known, and they're still seen about. But they were so popular, so you had to make an appointment with the dealer who was down near Edinburgh. So we made an appointment. We had, I think it was half an hour slot, maybe 20 minutes, but we had a slot to go and look at this van. We're going to choose a van. And when we went down, I went in before Lindsay. Lindsay was looking around the outside. The thing. I'd seen what I wanted outside. I knew what it looked like from outside. I needed to get in. Rear bathroom, 2-berth, sort of kitchen on one side, bunks at the front, the dinette at the front, and it was superb. It was what we needed. It wasn't, as it turned out, what we were going to buy. Lindsay put one foot into the van, looked around, shook her head, and walked out. The salesman looked at me and said, "Oh," I said, "we're not buying this van, sorry." So we decided to have a look around and see what else there was before. It was a long haul back up to Elgin from where we were. So we headed back, and in fact we might even have been in Fochabers by then. We were indeed in Fochabers by then. So before we went back, we'd have a look around. We also went to have a cup of coffee and a piece of cake, I believe. So, have you seen anything? There's one I wouldn't mind having a look at, but there's a queue outside it. Oh, strange. So we walked about, and in the showroom was a nice van with white leather seats and a fixed bed at the back, etc., etc. It was very nice, but white leather seats? No. Can you imagine how mucky that would have been very, very quickly? Anyway, we waited for the queue to go down from this van that Lindsay had spotted, and in we went. Yep, we'd found our new caravan, or rather it had found us, because we'd not liked this caravan last time we were in it, although it's not the same dealer, it's the same make and model. Yes, a Bessicar Cameo E495. And we must have liked that one because we had it for 9 years. And it was stupidly the same layout as the Caravan Lindsay didn't like, but the kitchen and the Welsh dress, or whatever you want to call it, were back to front. They were the other way about. Kitchen was on the opposite side to it was on the other one. And that's perhaps all it took, was that reversal. But that's what we had. We had that Bessicar for 9 years, and it had everything we wanted. It was a fantastic layout. It worked for us. It was a little bit smaller than we'd had previously, but there was only the two of us now and plenty of room. But then we started to get a bit older. Aches and pains appeared. We couldn't haul the water as well as we used to be able to, that kind of thing. And we're hankering now after a fixed bed. But it's also, I'm thinking, time to think about a change from a caravan to a motorhome. We knew exactly what we wanted. In fact, Lindsay had specified, in fact, no, it wasn't Lindsay, it was between us who said, we could just put an engine on the front of this, a cab on the front of this. Apart from the fact it didn't have a fixed bed, we were quite happy with the Bessicar, but it was time for us to choose. But again, did we? We found a layout we liked. We went looking, and we had an idea about what we liked, and we were indeed preparing to take a holiday down south of the border at some of the really big motorhome places, when an advert popped up on the internet from the place where we bought our Ariel, our Alpine and our Marauder, just along the coast, not far away. And they had a Bessicar E710 motorhome. Now, for those who've seen our layout, the bed is in the back driver's side corner. Toilet and shower on the other side. The bed is fixed. There's cupboards, sinks, and a single settee type seat along the driver's side. 2 swivel chairs. Loads of room for 2 of us, and an ideal layout. We hadn't seen this layout anywhere else except in this advert at the place just along the coast in Fraserburgh, where we'd previously bought caravans. So, we've told the story of how I did this, or Lindsay has, when she was coming off a night shift, and I snuck her along. But the thing is, although we hadn't chosen it, it came in the advert, I liked the look of it, Lindsay walked into it, and I couldn't get her out of it. Again, we didn't really choose it. Desmond came along and said, "Here I am, folks, I'm what you need," and there he was. So for anybody who's looking to buy a caravan and searching hard and not sure what I have one piece of advice. Get out there and look at them, because the one for you will find you, not you it. I hope you've enjoyed our journey through our caravans and how we chose them, or rather they chose us. And we'll see you soon for more Desmond's Donders. Bye for now.